Good morning. Oh, so it is snowing. Yes, it looks like a snow globe outside since last night. So there's several inches on the ground. Don't get much snow here normally. In the last, oh gosh, I've been here for 5 years. Crazy, huh? This is only like we had one snowy season, and then this is now maybe another snowy season, but anyway, it's snowing now and there's several inches on the ground. Kind of interesting. I'm gonna keep the curtains pulled for the most part, except for this one window. I gotta have some light in here for my sanity. But it's, and the insulation in this house is pretty good. But I just don't want to test my old heat central air unit too hard. So I'm kind of keeping the curtains closed, keep the heat in. Just another little barrier. Trying to be thoughtful of my little guy out there working his little butt off. He's good for hopefully another season. I just keep sucking the life out of that poor thing. I had repairmen out here once or twice a year for a while. So how are y'all? How's the new year treating you? How's life treating you? Is life getting scary for you with all the news and politics? It doesn't seem to stop. It seems to be coming from every angle. And that's all this outside stuff. So then when there's inside stuff, like inside the house or inside the family, that's a whole nother energy level. And then when you mix those two, wah, and then if you add on our physical health, what's going on there as well, it can be an existential experience. Yes it can. So we can talk about that. I'm going to do this today. So check this out. I am down to, I got rid of all my dark foundation, gave it to one of my church friends who's now a friend. And I gave her all those bottles of dark foundation I had. I did the taste test, skin test all up and down both my arms. That's how many I had. And did it in this light, my bathroom light, the middle of the house light, and in the window light. So I was able to really see which ones blended the best and which ones just didn't even come close, which ones kind of came close but not quite right, ones that came close but maybe. And so I really only kept the ones that kind of pretty much close, but maybe I saved those for my legs for in the summer. I can mix them with lotion and really put them on my legs, let them dry, then get dressed. And then I always feel more confident when I go out because my legs are so white. And the other makeups that you can get for your legs, self-tanners and stuff, I don't like the smell of them. And I already have it. And so I'm going to do that. So all I have left are these, porcelain and ivory. I refilled this empty one. That's what that is. But this is what I have in it. I liked this so much. They were on a 2 for sale in Amazon. So keep your eyes open if you like that brand. It is full coverage. It is matte and it lasts all day. If you haven't tried this, you're missing out. Yep, it's powerful. It is not the natural look if you're going to be sitting right next to somebody. It is actually full coverage. And also this one, this is the real deal in here. It is light enough for me, and I have that in fair. I still have the L'Oreal True Match Nude in 0.5 to 2. That's I think it's the lightest one of them. I love that. That's good for sitting right next to somebody, the natural look. And I kept my Wet n Wild Photo Focus in soft ivory. It's what I've worn most of my life. And this one I saved, even though it says beige, because it's so close and it does give me a little color, so maybe I'll use it for contouring. Okay, it's the only one that I saved that wasn't for my legs. I'll put it up here on my table. And I saved this Wet n Wild Scented Hydrator. Since it's so wintry out, I'm gonna try it today. Okay, so I wanted to talk to you about, I just want to see how this does. You know, I had a couple makeup in there that went bad because I had it for so long and didn't use it. But this is, Wet n Wild is not famous for its smell, that's for sure. Okay, so I want to talk to you about having life coming at us. Sometimes from all directions. And sometimes it's just one or two. This isn't just for people who, like me, sometimes have things coming from all directions, especially then if you work as well, right? Outside forces, politics, world events, work, family, physical health, financial situations. You know, you can cut up that piece of pie, that pie in so many pieces until it feels like we've lost control. And what's interesting is that sometimes we are actually in control. I recognize that I have time. I'm in practice with my liquid eyeliner today. Okay, let's double check, make sure all the pores are filled in. My pores are so big from back when I had acne and scarring from sunburns. I had 2nd-degree sunburns all over my face and the top of my legs and shoulders twice in my life, let alone all the extra burns that were just normal. You know what? Pretty good. And if you happen to be male and you're looking for something, or you're one of those gals that you don't want to wear heavy makeup, the best ones to choose from, in my opinion, are these. These are really good. This one looks like it has color, but not so much, so this might be a good one as well. Okay, so where was I? Oh, I forgot about this one. I'll probably end up using that for my legs. I don't know. We'll have to see. I'll put it back in here. I missed that one yesterday. So anyway, It's interesting because sometimes we say we have no control in our life. We have to help others and we put ourselves last. And really, what I'm thinking is sometimes, are we really putting ourselves last? I don't know. Sometimes when we're feeling like we're taking care of other people, what we're really doing, if we slow down and really think about it, is, are we really doing covert management and control, trying to do damage control or personnel management? Because if you really think about it, if we're talking about sane adults, it's so hard to not want to ask questions. It's so hard not to want to, and let's be honest, meddle, right? And sometimes that even goes with intimate relationships, is, do I need to know how you feel every single day? How you feeling, honey? You know, do I really need to know that? Can I let it go since it seems to aggravate them or make them feel like, what do you want from me? Excuse me. My poor Frankie has such bad allergies. His little nostril is so red. So I'm going to give him Benadryl until I can get him into the doctor. But oh my God, my heart just aches for him. So anyway, I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm just trying to say that sometimes we're not if we don't have the connections to, for instance, I'll just use my husband for example. If he goes to a family event or he gets a family phone call and I don't feel like I was involved or added to the conversation, at this point, it's like, why would I struggle with that anymore? Why? It's his family. If I'm out of the loop, they will figure out I'm out of the loop. And if they care, they'll figure out a way to get me a message, right? Let's just be honest with ourselves here. And if they think, well, why doesn't she keep in touch? I don't have anything to say, I guess. Because there was a time when I did do everything I thought I could to stay in touch, but it didn't seem appreciated. See, that's an example of, then why am I still trying? Why am I so controlling? Why am I getting in there? And, oh, I'm just trying to help. It's like, are you really? Just throwing it out there. I have clients, believe it or not, who are just like us, just like you, right? Just like me. You're not alone if you do this. It's not like, oh, you're so dumb for trying to control the situation. No, you're normal. But the thing is, what's ironic is then we say, we're trying so hard to help. Well, are you? Or are you just trying really hard to be a part of the family, a part of some kind of interesting activity? It's not always mean girls, right? For example, whoever they are, family members or what have you, if we say like I was mentioning earlier, they may be leaving me out because they have so much on their plate that I'm an afterthought, just like a whole lot of other cousins and neighbors that they're not used to. And they figure if someone lets me know, or they're fine with that, but they just don't have time. They try. Oh, eyebrows again. Yay. Ooh, that went down a little far. There we go. Not too bad. Just I haven't had much of an eyebrow. Oh, I've been going very natural this last few days, so it feels good to kind of get some drama going. Okay, so does that kind of make sense? I know most people don't want to hear it, and a lot of people think it's a fight, flight, or freeze thing, and you'll see this a lot in abused children or neglected children. Is they want so much to be a part of the family, they don't even realize what they're doing. Instead of accepting that they got ripped off, they don't get a family, and you can't make a family out of someone else's family. You can try, and some people get lucky and get to be invited in, but that doesn't always mean you get to stay in. It doesn't. Does not. I don't know. So anyway, so then when it comes to, okay, now what are you going to do to self-soothe? Sometimes people stay so busy in all this family drama. They do it because they struggle with just being quiet. Just being quiet. It's hard to do. Being still is quite the challenge. I like keeping it simple. I'm just using CoverGirl Clean Makeup, and this is Creamy Natural 120. Yep. Oh, dang it. I forgot to get some information. We have a couple gals on here who have their own channel, and I wanted to give a shout out to their channels, and I am blanking it out right now, so I don't know. Do I have Alzheimer's? Do I have a health issue? I don't know. Matter of fact, I was thinking about, you know, when we get all frazzled and we think, oh, all I do is help take care of other people. It's so funny, right? So what happened was recently, and I kind of shared this in my video yesterday, is that, excuse me, what was I saying? Dang it. Yeah. Well, there are certain things I do when I get overwhelmed. And one of them is I get forgetful. Short-term memory loss is just one of my go-tos with stress. And you'll find that out if you research it. What are some of the signs that you're overstressed and short-term, or put in short-term memory loss and stress in your Google or YouTube or whatever. And you'll see some information on that. So, I do not like the brush on this, so I am going to set that aside and use my little bitty one instead. It just fits in that deep. That's it. So we'll see. So anyway, when I look at it, I can take care of myself. What are you doing? If you're stressed out, what are you doing that you could cut back on? I have already learned, and once in a while I learn it in a little different flavor, But I had finally learned that, and this was a while back, is that the world isn't going to fall apart without me. I probably learned that back when I thought I was Miss Hot Stuff, because I came up with this program. The first Russian, because we had a lot of Russian immigrants out in Portland at the time. And I was working in Vancouver, Washington, right across the bridge. And we had a lot of immigrants coming in from Seattle and the area and Portland. And a lot of alcoholics and family violence was already running rapid with the methamphetamine, the meth problem. And so when they came in, when they went, if they did have a problem with drugs and alcohol, or DUIs, there was no program for them because of the language barrier and the culture barrier. Because some of the same things they were learning would learn in treatment didn't necessarily make it easy to connect because of the language difference. So an interpreter would have to, anyway, you kind of get my picture. So I got together interpreters and I trained them in drug and alcohol awareness, information. Anyway, so for a very short time, because of all the accolades I got, and I was also working with one of the very few in the country, because that area also had, was it Vancouver, Washington, that had one of the deaf schools, one of the 5 deaf schools. Well, we also, I also helped open a deaf addiction center, inpatient treatment. So that was, so for a short time, thank God it didn't last long, I got a little hoity-toity. thought I could get in there and mix it up, and it gave me this feeling like I could do anything and everyone should listen to me, because I know, obviously, is that terrible? Oh my God, what it takes to grow up sometimes, right? It's too funny. Well, if it weren't tragic, good grief. I waste a lot of time, energy, and relationships growing up. So the kind of clientele I get have had similar situations where there was heartache, heartbreak, neglect, whatever, their sadness, disappointments made them, because of personality type, a little arrogant, or their successes made them arrogant. And either way, not everybody reacts that way. So I'm talking to the people who get bigger, tougher, harder, more managing, trying to manage and control. These types of personalities, they can exhaust themselves. And then they don't want to admit it, but then they get this layer of loneliness on top of it. And so they just keep fighting and fighting and pushing, when in all actuality, if they would just put down the rock, right? Put down the shovel, stop digging, things could accidentally get better all on their own without doing anything else. But will they do that? No. They would rather fight until the last breath. As a matter of fact, some turn to drugs and alcohol to help fuel the fight, to help stay in the fight. And those are people I'm talking to. And so some of my clients are like me. When we get mad or glad or sad or sometimes in between, we're so expressive and have our faces are just so expressive. There are no secrets. That's a shame. That's too bad, because that can be 75% of our problems right there. That's the truth. And there are some people who, they might be upset and reacting, in all honesty, the same way that my personality types, there's several different in that category, will react in a certain way, but you can't tell because their faces don't give it away, and or they're able to redirect, correct, or gaslight. And that doesn't necessarily mean they're an actual narcissist, but does it matter? You can make all the excuses in the world that you want to for someone's misbehavior. And at the end of the day, if you're hurting other people, it just doesn't matter. And if enough people are telling you you're not staying in your lane, it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong anymore. You have to look at whether you agree or disagree. If they're adults, like some of us would just micromanage on the smallest details, and then claim that they're exhausting themselves. Well, once my clients gain insight, and I went through it too, that if you stopped the struggle that you have with your brain chemicals and your brain mapping that make you compulsively want to do behavior, is like an addict wanting a heroin fix. It takes a while to fight it and rationalize, stop thought, change thought. It takes a lot. It is not for the weak. And that's why a lot of addicts don't get clean, because it's hard. And a lot of troublemakers don't stop causing trouble because it's hard to stop that kind of behavior. But once you do, you get to practice what it feels like then to not be exhausted all the time. Believe it or not, most people who say, I've tried that, I just can't, who say things like that, have actual untapped strengths, untapped resources that they had no idea they had, because they've given themselves permission to give up at a certain level. For instance, a lot of my clients, they come to me because of their, basically, long story short, anger issues. They do it because somebody else is threatening to leave, or there's going to be some kind of trouble, whatever it is. And they'll say things like, well, I just wanted to be heard. Don't I have a right to be heard? You know, we've kind of talked about this before, but I want you to understand that the resource that someone who says things like that is tapping into, I'm going to have to go do a little curling iron before I get on the call. Oh, maybe that'll work. I might be able to do that so I can stay here another minute or two. if someone has that much awareness, that much functionality, and they can start listing reasons why they should be able to express themselves in the way they want to. Watch how they say it. That's when you know they're not mentally handicapped. That's how you know they're not mentally off the graph to where they can't be taught. It's like I don't work with people that have those kind of mental issues, right? And I don't have those kind of mental issues. And once I accepted that I was not broken, I just needed to be retrained. To say, dig deeper, to be able to just keep the mouth shut, breathe, connect, or walk away, or run away for a few minutes, or until you can actually physically calm down. And no, you don't get a few days. You don't get a few hours, right? You get long enough, an hour at the most, to practice stop thought, change thought, so you can get your brain back under control. There are people who will not try harder. It's like, but I did try harder. I want to see evidence. I want you, when I have clients call up and they say, well, I did try harder, but I'll say, okay, explain to me how you tried harder. And if it doesn't sound like they tried harder, I let them know. That doesn't sound like you tried harder. It sounds like you got to that same level and then gave in. They're like, yeah, but this time I was aware of it when I was giving in. I'm like, okay. Where at did you get awareness? Because I want to confirm that this is true. I want to know how we can tell, you and I together, right? And they'll switch from doing that whiny voice because they know they didn't succeed to problem solving, troubleshooting. And they'll say, well, right about the time they said this or that, I realized there was a second that I thought, well, I could do this or that. Or they'll say, I just popped in their head. That's so fun. Or something to that effect. And I'll go, okay. Because that is such a great sign. If you can just get that one moment in there, it's kind of like getting that droplet of water in the crack of a rock. The more you can work on that narrow pathway, trying to get that new road built, even if it's just a little at a time, as long as you're pushing harder each time. And if you're doing pretty good and then you relapse, oh, look how far you got in there, right? In here, not in there. So it gets that gets exciting. I like hearing that. So if you know someone or it's a great conversation about how hard we try. There's no reason for anyone to stay a permanent smoker or overeater or whatever, or alcohol or drugs, anger, rage, hiding emotionally, these habitual behaviors, right? But they do stay there and they do die there. They die fighting for the right to do whatever they want. Oh, and I get it. But just understand that there are some things we can correct if we try hard enough. That's just the honest truth. We can. And the substance that it takes is inside. It's inside here. I recently went to an event, and I heard someone say, well, I try really hard. And I was in this mood where it's like, I don't know, something kicks in sometimes, and stuff comes out of my mouth. And I said, I could hear by the tone, the look on her face, the subject matter. I said, no, you're not trying hard enough. But I do try hard. I said, but you're not trying hard enough. Well, I keep praying that God gives me the strength. I said, this isn't about God. This is about how hard are you willing to fight to be who God created you to be, maybe. Oh my God, we ended up getting in a conversation that was so juicy. And I like having conversations like that because they remind me of the journey I've been through and help me be so grateful for all the things that I've learned and experimented with. Life doesn't have to be perfect. You know, I kept thinking, get that greener grass, get that longer bridge, get that brighter sun, whatever it was. And sometimes there's good enough. Because why do we have to work really hard to get what we've got? And then it's, how can we better manage ourselves, not other people, to have a more enjoyable life? A more enjoyable life. People mistake a human life for a constant state of happiness. I don't know where that came from, where people say, oh, you're not happy? Well, you should move on. It's like, there are ways to get happier, but there are also ways to accept that we're a human being with human behaviors and human lives, and we're not robots. We're not AIs or holograms. We're not TV commercials. We're not these ridiculous people on these Bravo shows. Oh my gosh. Why are they putting that on TV to infect the brains of fellow humans? I think it's poisonous. Oh, I just want to tell you this. If you want to have some joy in your life, a couple quick ways to do that is dance and thinking beautiful thoughts, practicing it, and gently smiling, right? And walking, or get a mini trampoline like I have and just kind of walk on that in place. You can do a YouTube video with it, put it up on your TV screen and walk during one of those walking videos. And there are some mini trampoline exercise programs on YouTube for free. If you do that at least just 10 minutes a day or twice a day, 5 to 10 minutes each time. I prefer 10 minutes, but I've had good reports with 5 minutes solid. So that's up to you, because it helps correct the brain chemical levels. So don't fall for, you can take a pill, if you're a relatively healthy person, that you can take a pill and it's all about a lack in your brain chemicals. That pill is going to help prevent you, or to take longer for you to build your own natural healthy brain chemicals. However, I'm not a doctor, so talk to your doctor about it. But if you do get on those pills, some people benefit from being on 6 months, a year, maybe 2, while they're working through traumas. There are some people who have enough childhood trauma or PTSD, and they may take a low dosage or take a dosage of any level for the rest of their life because things have been reconstructed in a certain way. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with medication. I have a problem with over-medication. Yeah, especially when we start having health issues and have to take medication that messes with our brain, our bowels, our balance. It's concerning, and so it's good to think it out and recognize that it's not mental problems and it's not somebody else's causing us problems. It's medication stabilization, medication monitoring, and self-control. Lots of stuff. Oh, so exciting. So many things. I'm feeling a lot more rested. My memory's still, short-term memory's still a little janky. But I wanted to show you the castor oil I've been using. It's this one here. It's got all the requirements, but people on the internet are saying, oh, but it doesn't have, not on my channel yet. Oh, it doesn't have, it's not in a glass bottle. Well, no, but everything else is right. And you know, if you're not setting this in the windowsill or out in the, I guess, photosynthesis in light, I keep it in a closet or my medicine cabinet. I don't know why not use this. As a matter of fact, I don't know enough about glass bottles, but if you're talking about it being poisoned by the fumes in the plastic, I don't know. Use it at your own risk. I don't know. Ask your doctor. I can tell you this. Oh, God. I was in my late teens, early 20s when I recognized that the straws from McDonald's had a certain gas they were emitting cheap plastic. And so, I don't know. I don't know if they've changed their straws. I hardly ever get a drink from there, but I get that fumes happen. So I'm not saying they don't. I'm just saying that this is the oil that I'm using. And also I was looking at replacing that bottle because I'm using quite a bit. I just love it. Oh my God, my skin looks so much better, and it only took a few days. I'm just telling you, it looks so much better, feels so much better. But so it's out of stock. Can't get it on Amazon or on Walmart. But there is a gallon jug that you can get for $34. So I thought, okay, how much is that really compared to what this costs? So I multiplied, I think, tax, title, and license, that might be $8. Did you believe that? A container that big of amazing moisturizer for $8. That's just crazy, right? So 64 divided by 8 is 8, right? Or is it 7? Anyway, it added up to where this was equivalent to buying a gallon. But Amazon has them for, I think, $34. So 64 ounces in a gallon divided by 8 worked out to about the same price, $34. I think that was it. I'll have to do the math again. I'm not very good at math. But anyway, that's all I got for you today. Catch yourself if you say that you try hard at anything. Do you try hard? Do you try hard? What do you try hard at? Could you try harder? Could you? What am I going to try hard at today? Or harder? What am I going to try harder at today? Well, everything's closed down here because of the snow and ice. I'm going to try harder at getting an appointment to have my blood work done, or at least get a phone call back from my doctor about my blood work. My blood work comes back looking good every time. Maybe a little high blood pressure, but I'm taking meds for that because I'm too lazy to bring it down physically and with my diet. See, I didn't try hard enough, but like I said before, medication to make your life a little easier, fine. And what else? A little bit of high cholesterol. They offered me medication, but I'm not. I can exercise enough to keep that down. It's borderline. But I want to keep an eye on my skin and any kind of cancers, things like that. And they have blood tests now to where if certain things look a little off, they can kind of tell. And a lot of cancers are curable, period, if you catch them in time. But if I have a headache for 3 days in a row, I think I have brain cancer. So I try to stay on top of things. But I've been kind of lazy lately. And it dawned on me that I didn't get a call back about my last blood test. They make you go in to have prescription refills. So I'm going to go do that. I'm going to keep this upside down because I don't want to waste a drop of this liquid gold. Man, I can't believe it took me so long to try this. Routine, brain mapping, right? All right. So thanks for hanging out with me. Life is good in the neighborhood. Good enough, right? All right. If nobody's told you yet today, I love you. And I don't lie. So, brothers and sisters. All right. Have a good one. Have a successful one. And if you can't do that, behave. Back to work. All right. Love you. Bye for now.